possibly because these women had never had a vagina interview before. One woman who was 72 had never even seen her vagina. She washed herself in the shower and bath, but never with conscious intention. She had never had an orgasm. At 72, she went into therapy, as they do in New York. And with the help of her therapist, she went home one afternoon by herself, lit some candles, took a bath, played some music, and she finally got down with herself. She said it took over an hour because she was arthritic, but when she finally found her clitoris, she said she cried. This monologue is for her.
Down there? I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower. No, it's a cellar down there. It's very damp and clampy. You don't want to go down there. Trust me, you'd get sick. It's very suffocating, very nauseating. The smell of the clamminess gets in your clothes and everything. Phew, smells unbearable. Gets in your clothes. No, there wasn't an accident down there. It didn't blow up or catch on fire or anything. It wasn't so dramatic. I mean, well, never mind. No, never mind. I can't talk to you about this. What's a smart girl like you going around asking old ladies about their down there's for? We didn't do this kind of thing when I was a girl. What? Jesus, okay. There was this boy, Andy Lecter. He was cute. Well, I thought so. And tall like me. And I really liked him. He asked me out for a date in his car. I can't tell you this. I can't do this, talk about down there. You know, it's just there, like the cellar. There's rumbles down there sometimes, and you can hear the pipes, and everything gets caught up, and there's little animals running around, and otherwise the door stays closed. You forget about it. I mean, it's part of the house, but you don't see it or think about it. It has to be there, though, because every house needs a cellar, otherwise the bedroom would be in the basement. Oh, Andy Lecter. Right. Andy was good looking. He was a catch. That's what we called it in my day. We were in his car, a brand new white Chevy Bel Air. I remember thinking that my legs were too long for the seats. I have long legs. They were smushed up against the dashboard, and I was looking at my big kneecaps when he just kissed me in this surprising way. Take me control like you do in the movies. Well, I got excited. I got so excited that the river of life just flooded through me. And right through my underpants and right into the car of his brand new white Chevy Cellar. It wasn't pee. It wasn't smelly. And well, frankly, I didn't really smell anything at all. But Andy said that it smelled like sour milk, and that it was staining his car, and I was a stinky little girl, weird girl. I wanted to explain that this kiss had caught me by surprise, and I wasn't normally like this. I tried to wipe the flood off with the dry dress. It was this new pretty yellow primrose dress, and it looked so ugly with the flood on it. And Andy drove me home without saying a word, and when I got out of the car, it closed the whole store, locked it, never opened for business again. I dated some after that, and the idea of flooding just made me too nervous. I never even got that close again. I used to have these dreams, crazy, crazy dreams. Oh, they're dopey. Don't ask. Why? Burt Reynolds. I don't know why. He never did much for me in real life, but in my dreams it was Burt and I. Burt and I. Burt and I. It was always the same general dream. We'd be out, Burt and I. And it was at some restaurant like the kind you see in Atlantic City, all with big chandeliers, and we'd be eating, and I'd pin a rose on his blazer, and we'd laugh. We were laughing, Bert and I. And we'd each shrimp cocktail, huge, fabulous shrimp. We'd laugh some more, and we'd laugh again, and we were very happy together. Then he'd look into my eyes and pull me close in the middle of the restaurant. Just as he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would shake, and pigeons would fly out and from down under there, and I don't know what the pigeons were doing there, but the flood would just come straight out of me. It would just pour out. It would pour, and there would be little fish swimming inside, and little boats and everything. And Bert would be standing knee deep, looking horribly disappointed in me that I had done it again. Horrified at his friends Dean Martin and the like swimming past us in their little tuxedos. I don't have those dreams anymore. Not since they took away everything connected down there. Moved out the uterus, the tubes, the whole works. The doctor thought he was being funny. He told me, if you don't use it, you lose it. Who needs it over? Anyway, highly overrated. I've done other things. I love dog shows. I sell antiques. You asked me what it would wear? What kind of question is that? What would it wear? It would wear a big sign, closed due to flooding. What would it say? I told you, it's not like that. It's not like a person who speaks. It stopped being that thing a long time ago. It's a place you don't go to. It's closed up and under the house. It's just down there. You happy? You made me talk. You got it out of me. You got an old lady to talk about her down there. And you feel better now? You know, actually, you're the first person to ever ask me about this. And I do feel better now. So thank you.
The Vagina Workshop. My vagina is a shell, a round pink tender shell opening and closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip, the center acute and deep, the scent delicate, the petals gentle but steady. I did not always know this. I learned this in the Vagina Workshop. I learned this from a woman who runs the Vagina Workshop, a woman who believes in vaginas, who really sees vagina, who help other women see their own vaginas by seeing other women's vagina. In the first session, the woman who runs the Vagina Workshop asked us to draw a picture of our own beautiful, fabulous vagina. That's what she called it. She wanted to know what our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina looked like to us. One woman who was pregnant drew a big red mouth screaming with coins spilling out. Another woman, very skinny, drew a big serving plate with a kind of devonshire pattern on it. I drew a huge black dot with little squiggle lines around it. The black dot was equal to a black hole in space, and the squiggle lines were meant to be people, things, or just you, basic atoms that got lost there. I had always thought of my vagina as an atomical vacuum, randomly sucking up particles and objects from the surrounding environment. I did not think of my vagina in practical or biological terms. I did not, for example, see it as something attached to me. In the workshop, we were asked to look at our own vaginas with hand mirrors. Then, after careful examination, we were to verbally report to the group what we saw. I must tell you that up until this point, everything I knew about my vagina was based on hearsay or invention. I had never really seen the thing. It had never occurred to me to look at it. My vagina existed for me on some abstract plane. It seemed so reductive and awkward looking at it when we were in the workshop on our shiny blue mats with our hand mirrors. It reminded me of how the early astronomers felt with their primitive telescope. I felt it quiet and settling at first. My vagina, like the first time you see a fish cut open and you discover this other bloody complex inside it. The thing that surprised me about my vagina, it was so raw and so fresh. And the thing that surprised me most was the layers. Oh my God, layers inside layers, opening and opening into more layers. Oof. My vagina amazed me. I couldn't speak when it came my turn in the workshop. I was speechless. I was awakened to what the woman who ran the workshop called vaginal wonder. I just wanted to lay there, my legs spread, examining my vagina forever. It was better than the Grand Canyon, ancient and full of grace. It had the innocence and freshness of a proper English garden. It was funny, very funny. It made me laugh. It could hide and seek, close and open. Then the woman who ran the workshop asked how many women in the workshop had had orgasms. 2 women tentatively raised their hands. I did not raise my hands but I had had orgasms. I didn't raise my hands because they were accidental orgasms. They happened to me. They happened in my dreams, and I will wake in splendor. They happened a lot in water, mostly in the bath. Once in Cape Cod. They happened on horses, on bicycles, sometimes on the treadmill at the gym. I did not raise my hand because although I had had orgasms, I did not know how to make one happen. I thought it was mystical, a magical thing. I didn't want to interfere. It felt wrong getting involved, contrived. Honestly, it felt Hollywood. The surprise will be gone, and the mystery. The problem, of course, the surprise had been gone for 2 damn good years, and I hadn't had a magical accidental orgasm in a long time, and I was frantic. That's why I was in the Vagina Workshop. And then the moment arrived that I both dreaded and longed for. The woman who ran the workshop asked us to take out our hand mirrors again and to see if we could locate our clitoris. We were there, the group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, searching for our spots, our locus, our reason. And I didn't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was sheer embarrassment. Maybe it was knowing that I had to give up the fantasy, the enormous life-consuming fantasy that someone or something was going to do this for me, the fantasy that someone was coming to lead my life, to choose direction, to give me orgasm. I could feel the panic coming, the simultaneous terror and realization that I had avoided finding my clitoris. I'd rationalized it as mainstream and consumerist because I was in fact terrified that I did not have a clitoris. Terrified that I was one of those constitutionally incapable, one of those frigid, dead, apricot testing, oh my God, bitter women. I lay there with my mirror, looking for my spot, reaching with my fingers, and all I could think about was the time when I was 10 and lost my ring with the emeralds in a lake. How I kept diving and diving over to the bottom of the lake, running with my hands over stones and fish and bottle caps and slimy stuff, but never my ring. The panic I felt, I knew I had to be punished. The woman who ran the workshop saw my insane scrambling, sweating and heavy breathing. She came over. I told her, it's gone. It's gone. I've lost my clitoris. I shouldn't have worn it swimming. The woman who ran the workshop laughed. She calmly stroked my forehead. She told me my clitoris was not something I could lose. It was me, she said, the essence of me. It was both the doorbell to the house and the house itself. I didn't have to find it. I had to be it. Be it. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. I lay back and closed my eyes. I put the mirror down. I watched myself floating above myself. I watched as I slowly began to approach myself and re-enter. I felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. It was very quiet, this re-entry, quiet and gentle. I bounced and landed and bounced. I came into my own blasters and blood and cells, and then I slid into my vagina. It was suddenly easy and I fit. I was all warm and pulsing and radiant, young and alive. And then, without looking, with my eyes still closed, I put my finger on what had suddenly become me. There was a little quivering at first, which actually urged me to stay. Then the quivering became a quake, an eruption, the layers dividing and subdividing. The quaking broke up into an ocean horizon of light and silence, which opened into a plane of music and color and innocence and longing. And I felt a connection, calling connection, as I lay there thrashing about on my little blue mat. My vagina is a shell, a tulip, and a destiny. I'm arriving as I'm beginning to live. My vagina, me. Thank you.
Here is a vagina happy fact. This is from Woman and Intimate Geography by Natalie Angier. The clitoris is pure in purpose. It is the only organ in the body designed purely for pleasure. The clitoris is simply a bundle of nerves, 8,000 nerve fibers, to be precise. That's a higher concentration of nerve fibers than is found anywhere else in the male or female body, including the fingertips, lips, and tongue, and it is twice the number in the penis. Who needs a handgun when you've got a semi-automatic?